everyone. On this 30th Sunday of Ordinary Time, the Scriptures remind us to be careful in the way that we treat a neighbor. The first reading from Exodus says, God is most compassionate to those in need, to foreigners, to the vulnerable, to those in debt, to those who give from their very need. It also speaks to us of God's wrath on those who exploit these vulnerable people. And so he puts us on guard on how we should treat others. In the gospel, Jesus takes our relationship to one another to a whole new level. After declaring that the first and greatest commandment is to love God with all our heart, soul, and mind, he says that the second great commandment is like it, to love your neighbor as yourself. St. John, in his first letter, makes it very clear that there's an intimate link between love of God and love of neighbor. And he points it out when he says, if anyone says, I love God, but hates his brother, he is a liar. For whoever does not love a brother whom he has seen cannot love God whom he has not seen. So what is God telling us as we look around and see so many in our society cry out for more equality, more social justice, more unity and harmony among us? The answer is clear. We're called to live with the intentional awareness that the other is another me. I cannot hurt my brother or sister without hurting myself. I also cannot lift my neighbor up without also lifting up myself. And so, I cannot remain indifferent to the other's suffering because loving the other as myself, I make it mine. I seek to solve my neighbor's problem as if it were mine because love has made it mine. But also, I cannot but rejoice with my rejoicing neighbor because love has made his joy my own. The other is another me. The other's skin color doesn't matter, nor whether my neighbor is male or female, elderly or a baby. The other is another me. And what is more, every time I do an act of service toward a neighbor, that is, every time I love a neighbor, I love God. You may ask, well, who is my neighbor? The simplest answer is that our neighbor is the person closest to us in the present moment. So look around you. Is your neighbor your little son or daughter? Is it the cashier at the store? Is it your husband or your wife? Is it your next-door neighbor who always blocks your driveway? Let's love all of them, one by one. Love them as ourselves, knowing that in doing so, we heal the relationships among us, but most of all, we show God that we truly love Him.